All right, so can you see that?
Yep.
All right, so this is how I'm kind of doing it.
Hmm.
I just basically delete faces and then have that right. This how you do
Mm,
it. Because I uploaded
yes.
the hands and the feet into UE4.
Right.
So is this the way that you're supposed to get the body parts?
Yeah. If you're doing custom, yeah. If you're doing it customized, yeah. You'd hide parts of the body like you have done, and then
O-
you export that out with just the mesh and the skeleton.
Okay, okay.
Um.
That's all I
Yeah.
need to know because if I'm doing that right, then I can follow your tutorial and then be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's how you get the different parts out. Just want to make sure that you're consistent when you're making different parts
to
that you
make sure
cut
they
in the
the
same
seams are the
place.
right areas. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that you
Like,
said that. Yeah.
yeah. Keep it consistent, and it'll make it no problem.
All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to all my programs.
Okay.
So like, am I able to like ask you questions, in between these time where we have these sessions?
Yeah, you can do.
Because
Just always give the caveat that be aware that I may not be able to respond straight away. That's all.
right.
Because I'm usually, well, I'm always doing something. So it's like in sessions or doing freelance work, or I'm doing recording stuff or whatever. But yeah, so when people message me, I say like, I have seen it. I won't be able to respond just yet. I'll give me a second. I do try to respond to as many as I can, but I get a lot.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it too, man. I do. But this is like you have to understand how desirable this industry is, man, and people just
Yeah,
want to learn. You know what I mean?
yeah.
All
That's why I
right.
want to teach it.
So how? Okay, this is what I've been working on so far. Like so I'm doing level streaming, and I wanted to ask you how because what I'm using Brushify procedurally generated landscapes, and how like I have like multiple levels, probably like 10 levels or
Hmm.
12 levels, and sometimes it's choppy. Now, is it? I mean, am I able to do procedurally generated with a big map?
I mean, yeah. It depends on how you're handling the procedural generation of it.
Okay,
But
like what do you mean?
well, like what kind of setup do you have for your procedural? Is it like Minecraft style where it is like endless and it just generates new blocks and unloads like the old blocks?
I'm gonna show you right now.
Um,
All right, you're looking at my screen, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me just load this other map because I want it to be playable. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I want it to be detailed and look beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, you have to get used to the idea in games. Like, there's usually a trade off somewhere.
Right. Yeah, and I just need to know like what is a good place to trade off. All right.
Yeah.
Like I got a lot of my building. I got a lot of stuff from what is it? From Kit Bash 3D,
Oh yeah.
like the streets, and I got this from the Ue4
Hmm.
marketplace. But this is the procedural general I was talking about. I have the grass. This is mud, but the grass I think is the one that's the most expensive. You know what I mean?
Oh right, you got procedural foliage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean with grass you can turn it down to like there's an LOD on it, so you can turn it down so it doesn't render after a certain distance. It
Really?
has it by default, but like right now it's doing it. You may not be able to see it,
Yeah, I can see it.
but that's it doing its job. So you can turn that down so it's like a smaller radius around you.
Okay.
Um,
So basically, probably in areas where it's heavily populated with buildings and stuff, I should put it down low so that it
well,
will.
you can't change it on the fly like that. It's like pretty much like it's a game wide setting.
Oh,
It will
okay.
affect it. You notice it in a lot of big games. Like if you look at like Witcher 3, for example, you'll see it in that very. It's not hard to not see in that. It's very clear. Um, and they say like the game, you have to make a trade off at some point. But the thing is, when it comes to the trading off, let's say for example, you're trading off the grass part. Just
Right.
make sure you've got something nice to look at for the player, so they don't even notice the glass doing that. It's like things like that you're trying to do all the time. The player won't notice the cracks if they're too busy looking at the sparkly bit.
Okay, got you. So I just got to be kind of creative with it.
Yeah, that's it. And game development is all about being creative with the limitations you've got.
Oh, okay.
And if you're looking at all the old, like especially older games where they didn't have like really powerful hardware, look at what they could manage to do just by doing little tips and tricks. I mean, I
Gotcha.
always point out the example that GTA 5 came out on what, the 360 and PS3. On the 360, the RAM mount on the 360, do you know how much there is RAM on the 360?
How much?
It's 250 megabytes,
Oh my God, are you serious?
and half of that's for the OS. So 100, they had 128 megabytes of RAM to deal with in the 360, and at that time, that's a powerful hardware at the time.
Wow.
Obviously, nowadays we don't have that; they have a lot more. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if GTA 5 could run on that, that's because they were creative with their engine and creative with their art and technical issues and just clever little tips and tricks to mask the ugly bits and get away with it. And that's the ultimate thing you're worried about in games is how can I hide the ugly parts to make sure the player doesn't see them. Yeah.
Okay, now this is weird. Okay, because when I'm doing in this mode right here, you see how the bottom half is black?
I can't see. Oh wait, no, it disconnected me.
All right.
I've been disconnected. It says sit tight. With patching a stream has ended.
Going
Try
back.
again. Oh, there you go. Yep.
You see how the bottom half is black?
Yep.
And then like when just now when today I push play, now it's not when I'm playing. But while I'm
Okay.
it's just weird. This is one of the questions I was gonna like. Stuff like this happens when I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
develop, and it just so frustrates me so much, like because I can't figure it out. But is it
Right.
like bug stuff that just happen? Like right now it says you should use sky atmosphere. You should not use sky atmosphere. Atmosphere is fog on at the same
Yep.
time.
Yep. So that black part you're seeing
Uh
is
huh.
part of the sky atmosphere system. So the sky atmosphere system does not render the ground. Okay, that's the ground essentially.
Oh, so we won't see that.
And no. So you've got the sky atmosphere, and also you've got atmospheric fog. If you turn off get rid of your atmospheric fog, then that will clear that warning message, and it may actually bring it back to what you're probably using.
Supposed to be
Um,
in the world outliner, right? Atmosphere fog.
yeah, it's called atmospheric fog. That's the one you want, the sky atmosphere.
Right. So
Uh,
I
Unless
just
you've got it
typed in
inside.
fog
Do you have it inside of that? Maybe. What's in there?
here.
Yeah,
No, that's just
because
the
you can also.
fog plane.
Yeah, but it's a blueprint. Is there a component in there that is in there doing it?
This.
Mm-hmm. If you click on the edit BP fog plane, are you in it? I
Yeah.
can't see it because you're sharing just the application, so I can't see individual windows.
How do I do it? The all windows.
You have to cancel the sharing of the screen.
Uh huh.
Click on share screen again, and a little tab that says screens. Click on that, and then you can share screen one or whatever screen you want.
All right. Much better.
That's it.
See you now.
Yeah. Um. So, is that a billboard? What's the one that says fog? I can't see with the symbol what it means. So on the component list, sorry,
Uh,
on the top
on
left,
the
the component.
on the component you said.
Yeah, on the top left, you got component list. What's the one that's fog? I can't see what type it is. It's billboard. That's fine. Okay, so this is not the issue by looks of it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a minimal issue, though. You know what I mean? Like.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you could be a number of things, but you got something in there that's adding atmospheric fog, which is the old style of doing fogging. Atmospheric fog was the way of making it so things in the distance looked blurrier and more hazy than
Yeah.
those up close. That was all replaced with the sky atmosphere system, which is what you've got on at the moment with the
Okay.
volumetric
So that's why
clouds.
you don't need both because it's been
Uh
updated.
huh.
All right.
Yep.
So like you know how you just see like on Unreal Store and just you see people have like beautiful scenery. That's just a mixture of them messing around with the atmosphere and different
Yeah,
let's say
messing around with lighting,
it's just something
post
you have to
processing.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now what is this post this volume? What's the purpose of this right here? Like I see this in projects. It's around like certain things. It's like
That
it's called post process volume. Like
oh
what is that?
yes. So post processing is a way of altering the way a screen is rendered to the player.
Uh huh.
And when it's a little box like that, they've most likely made it infinite extent. So if you go into the detail settings for it, you got the details tab on the right, where you got levels, details. That's it. So if you scroll down, you'll see the tick box saying infinite extent. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yes, so they have ticked it. See that where it says infinite extent,
So I could
unbound,
make
and they ticked it.
yeah yeah.
So what that means is that it's affecting the whole entire level. Okay,
Even if it's this
Other,
small.
even if it's that small.
So what do I do with it?
So what it's used for is for changing and improving the image or altering the image that's rendered to the screen. So, for example, if you go up on the right, scroll up, and we'll change a simple one. Keep going. So that color grading, you see global. Go to global. Give it I don't know. Give it mess with one of these. Tick one of these and change the color. You'll see what it does. Like some of these things do. You can change these values now. And
I see it. I see it. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, and this is
so
this is how they actually mess with the environment too, like we were just talking about, huh?
yeah. So this
Okay.
is exactly what they do. Then there's things in there that you can do with camera effects, and like you can do
Make
like
it cold, make it
uh
colder.
huh, yeah, cold. You can make it drunk vision if you want, motion blur.
Ah,
You can even do lens flares on it. You can also do what we call dirt masks. So in games where you get blood splattered on the camera, or dirt splashed on the camera, or water splashed on the camera, that's how you do it. There's a thing in here
you have to
that
blueprint
mimics that.
when it does it at certain
Yeah,
times.
you turn it off and you can add these post process volumes to anything that don't have to be in the world. They can be added as part of actors. So, like for example, we may make the player drunk. They have maybe have a post process volume on them ready to go, but it's turned off. And then when they're drunk, we just turn it on or
Okay,
fade it in.
okay, so like okay, this area right here is
Yeah.
basically a frozen wasteland, right?
Uh huh.
So that would put a post processing volume around this level only and change the values
You can do.
to make
Yeah,
it
you
like
can do.
that in that area.
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay,
You can also change the brightness on it. You can also change the exposure. You can also make your own post processing materials, so you can customize the entire image yourself and do whatever you want with it. It's really powerful and it's really cheap.
which is what I need basically
Yeah,
if I'm making
post
a big game.
processing is a godsend. It does so much with so little power.
Okay.
Because what the reason why it's cheap is because it sort of intercepts like the rendering of it, so you're not actually changing any pixels or changing anything like that inside the game. It goes into it after it's done all the calculations, and then it changes it, which makes it super cheap and easy.
Got you.
Yeah, it's really nice. But that's why it's called post processing. It happens after the process has happened.
Man, Unreal Engine is so amazing. So like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. I have an I have an idea how I want to make tunnels, like an
Right.
underground sewer system on my map. Like, okay, this what happened here is a nuclear bomb hit right here. Okay, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of crap down here, just really messed up. And I made a tunnel entrance down here,
Hmm.
and you know, just gonna be like an underground area, right?
Yep.
Is this how you do it, or I have to? You
Um.
see, it's outside of the hot, like
Yeah. That's right.
this
Yeah.
is how I do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so on each
So
level, go
with
ahead.
with the landscape that you've done there, did you cut a hole in the landscape?
Yes, I put
An alpha mask bit on it.
yeah. But
Yeah. Okay. Good.
how do you return alpha mass? How do you return it? Because I don't know how to like I can make a hole, but then I just control Z back, but I don't want to keep doing that.
Oh, if you hold down shift,
Shift into it.
shift. Yeah, shift does the opposite of whatever you're doing. So if you're doing
Visibility, right?
like
Okay.
sculpting,
And then
yeah. So you hold down shift. Oh,
oh, I just cover it
yeah,
up. Okay. Sweet.
yeah. And that does the same for all of them. So, for
Okay.
example, if you were to sculpt, you hold down Shift and it will go down the other direction.
Oh yeah, I know about that, but I didn't know that
Yeah.
applied to the visibility.
Oh yeah, it applies to all of them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. UI. Let me tell you
Hmm.
something, man. You don't know how excited I am right now, Ryan, because I consider myself a very creative person. I'm a YouTuber, and that's not enough for me. I need to just go in, and I'd appreciate if you check out my channel whenever you get a chance, man.
Sure.
I'm about to hit 30,000 subs, but
Oh, nice. Well done.
anyway, UI.
Hmm.
I've seen your videos on UI, and um, I understand that it's just the basic UI, but how does this UI design system work? Do I just like take my own designs from like Photoshop or over and then import them
Yeah.
in and then like use them as templates for the
Um, kind of. If you give me a second, I'll load up a project and I can show you.
okay,
One with like actual UI graphics and things.
okay.
And what you do with graphics.
Yeah, because I need to know
But
how to customize it for mine.
yeah, yeah.
And how
Um,
big is like for do you think this is a good size map for a level? Good size you think this is too much or this is a good size for one level for an open world game? Like what's a good standard? Cuz I don't want it to be too big to the point where
mhm.
it's not going to work, you know?
The problem with people like yourself who are getting new into games and making open world games,
I want to
especially
do
open world
everything,
games,
right?
it's not that. It's not that. It's the issue comes down to that people struggle with open world is that I think that they have a misconception of what open world means and how to design open world. Like designing a linear level is far simpler than an open world level.
Right.
But what you tend to find is people tend to make open worlds like what you've got there, like a big open expanse,
Uh-huh.
and worry about things like the size of it, like you are.
Okay.
When in fact that's the wrong question to be asking.
Okay.
The correct question should be, um, is the environment fun? Is it good to walk around this environment? Like if you take an environment like Red Dead Redemption and you just walk around that environment, it's fun to walk around. There's a variety there, and it doesn't feel even though it's open,
Barren and open.
it it doesn't feel barren. Like if there's always something to do, like
Trust me,
even
Ryan.
like Little Hill.
Trust me, Ryan. I've taken all that into account, and I'm an advocate of open world games that are not boring and barren because there's so many things that I want to do. As far as like, if I played a Destiny and I would see if I'm on the moon and I see in the distance, I say I want to go over there, but you can't because you go
Hmm.
far and you die. That's a false open world to me. You know, I might understand that they have a goal for their levels, but that's not the way I want to do it. I really
Yeah,
enjoy Skyrim's map because you can go off into the distance and find some cave and then that'll be a dungeon that you can go into and find other stuff. That's the type of stuff I'm trying to do. It's gonna be fun
yeah.
because this area right here, you could walk around in almost every area. You can go inside. Plus, it's gonna be PvP
Hmm.
feasible. You know what I'm saying? And so I want stuff to have physics to where when you shoot it, it causes a reaction. I could do all that stuff, but the point is it's not gonna be a barren open world. This is far from finished, and I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
need to
Okay.
get some understanding about having So basically, you're saying it doesn't really matter how big it is as long as.
No, not at all. The size
So
is the least of problems.
so
It,
why does
it
it
the
why does it be choppy stuff? Like, is it gonna be better
bec-
when it's rendered out after it's done?
Partly, yeah. So I mean, it comes down to a few things. So like these buildings you've got here, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
Can you click on one of them? Okay, so that's one big mesh. Okay.
yeah.
Now, typically for a game,
Uh huh.
that's bad.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why is if you go to like a wireframe view. Okay, so if you go to where it says
Vertices.
lit. See on the top left of the viewport it says lit. It says like perspective, lit, and
Sorry.
show.
Right here,
No, on the left corner.
left corner.
Yeah, where it says lit.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, click on that, and then choose brush wireframe. Okay,
Oh my
so you
goodness.
see these are all the things it's got to render. Okay, all the various points.
Real
So
time.
in real time. So every single corner, everywhere where those lines crisscross has to be rendered out. Now, the way gamers typically handle this is through occlusion.
Okay.
So occlusion is basically if it can't see it, it doesn't render it. But the problem is it can't just say only render this part, it'll have to render the whole model.
Uh,
Now, for a model like this, if you see even just 1 pixel of it, 1 pixel, it'll render the whole thing.
wow. So that's why level streaming is important too.
That plus modularity. So
Okay.
you're seeing lots of games, modular levels where you probably noticed it maybe as well when you're going around. You notice hey, that's the same bin that was over there. That's the same window that's over there. Just copy and
Once
paste it
it's
over and over and
rendered,
over
then it
again.
renders all of them in
Well,
that area.
well, not just that. When it's modular, if let's say for example this building was made modularly, and you saw just like the corner piece through the
Oh,
camera
got
view,
you.
it would
So,
only render that piece.
oh, okay. So that's why I shouldn't keep making all these static meshes mix with one make it
Yeah.
made with a whole bunch of meshes.
Especially for if you're doing like a large open world game where you're gonna have quite a number of
See,
these.
I thought it was
You
the other way around. I thought the more just regular static meshes I have, the easier it'll be on the system.
no, because it's got to render it's just 1 pixel of it will make it render the whole thing.
That's why these projects that I see, I try to replicate them, and they just pieces together. They don't make them one
Uh huh.
mesh.
That's right. That's right.
Ah, okay.
So there's loads of benefits to modularity, and one benefit is that performance wise is better. Secondly, it makes it so much easier to make adjustments to your level design. So, for example, you're like, "Oh, I need a door in this wall now." If it's
Right, you can
modular, I
flip
can
it
literally just take
out.
that wall piece out, put a door in it. If it's a
Yeah.
whole model, I have to export the whole model, edit the model, retexture it, UV map
And
it,
it's easier
put
to
it back
fix
in.
glitches and bugs if something's wrong with your game.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So modularity is where it at, and it's basically like Lego. You just make all the pieces up and build your level out of Lego. The downside to it is that it is long. It takes longer to do technically,
No,
but you can make a lot
that's fine,
more
man. That's
stuff in
fine.
it.
That's fine.
It
It's
is.
it's you gotta have quality, man. You gotta have
Yeah, and
quality.
it is, and because it is modular, each individual piece can have a lot more quality in it as well because it's only rendering that part,
Right.
not the whole building.
Thing is though, like you're right about it's gonna be
Hmm.
a lot of work. But
Yeah. So something like these look like they were more designed for film, like background assets for film, maybe.
oh, okay.
Less so than games, because they are high quality single static meshes, which is fine for film because film's not real time. You put them in a distance, and that's it. You wouldn't be expected to see a player running around this building, for example.
But the thing is though, I'm gonna build some of these buildings because this all you gotta do is duplicate these floors right here. Just
Yeah. Once you've made one bit, it's easy. You just keep dragging it up.
yeah. Okay. So, man, you're dropping some gems on me right now. Like these are the things that I need to know. Like
Oh,
because we don't have much time, and I'm trying to. That's what I need to know. What's gonna limit me, make my project the
hmm
least expensive.
yeah. So
And
that would help
okay,
modularity.
okay,
Yeah. Just remember that if it sees a single pixel of it, it'll render the whole thing.
okay.
I've seen people make whole levels as one static mesh, and I'm like, oh damn, no.
That's what I was that bro. That's where I was gonna start doing. That's what I was gonna start doing, man.
Yeah, no, yeah, and also don't forget when it's a single static mesh like that, doing collisions for it is a pain in the ass too because
Really,
you
cause
have to
all I
um
do is double click it and use complex as
and that's super expensive.
I'm doing all the wrong things, huh?
So complex collision, if you're going to use it as a simple collision, what it's doing is it's take again basically you've got two meshes on top of each other. You've got the one you're seeing and the one the computer sees for collisions, and that again they have
Oh my
vertices like
gosh.
normal, and each vertex is mathematically calculating their collisions with the world around them. So when you're doing complex collision, especially when it's high poly, like these are, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time. So you've had to do that because they are single meshes. You've had to turn that on so you can actually walk through the doors and stuff like that. And the reason why you have to turn it on for that is because collisions can't have concave shapes; they can only be convex shapes. So you can't do like holes, for example. If you want to do holes, you have to do like a whole like border around it.
Mm.
Um,
You see what
so
I did
again,
with
modular.
this right here? I made this a whole one mesh.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, see, like if you saw just one little pixel of that, it render the whole thing, even though you don't see 95% of it.
Wow, that's that
Yeah,
that is. Okay.
So you can see where things can be massively improved by using modularity.
Okay, and this is how I do weather systems for the post-processing volume. Like down here is gonna be
Hmm.
nuclear matter and nuclear environment, so you're gonna be getting affected
Yeah,
by the.
yeah,
I'll put a post-processing volume down here only, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That could
cool.
do it. Yep.
All right. Another question. Oh yeah. Okay. I want to show you something because I followed your blend space and your animation thing to a T,
Okay.
and I was came across some problems, man. All right. So my movement blend.
Hmm.
I got some I was asking you because I did a socket. I'm trying to ask so many
Hmm.
questions at once, but I did a socket right for my chest armor and a socket for
Hmm.
this weapon. But when I do the animations, the socket I ended up rigging the chest piece a certain way just so that it could stay when it runs. And
Yeah.
I think that did the trick. So you have to rig the armor actually, right? To the same way
Yes.
the armor. Okay.
Yep.
In order for it to,
Like
because it was going through
clothing.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Clothing and armor essentially is just skin. It just looks like armor. But
You see how
yeah,
it's going through it? You see how it's going through his stomach right there?
yeah. So
It's not rigged
like
all the way correctly.
no. So with the with clothing, typically is underneath the clothing. There's nothing there. There's no skin. There's nothing. It's empty. It is literally just the clothes is their skin.
So when I do the
Um.
when I do the torso, when I'm gonna do the parts, what
Mhm.
should it be just based on the geometry of the chest armor that I'm gonna bring in?
That's it. Yeah. So you have to get away from the idea of thinking like real life. It's not like you're putting clothing on an actor. You are basically making his skin the clothing.
You know what I thought it
Um.
was? I thought it was I bring my character in from Real Illusion, I blueprint the armor, and I create sockets, and they could just equip the armor. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's only true for a couple of pieces of armor, but for the majority of it, you'd want it rigged as like actual skeletal mesh
And you
armor.
want it consistent.
Uh-huh. You can see an example of this if you go into the marketplace. There's a free asset, a couple of free assets you can use called the stylized modular
Yeah,
characters. And if
I
you go
got
in there,
that.
you can
I
you
got
can
that.
see how they're breaking up. And you can see like how the skin is part of the clothing.
Okay, so basically that is the piece. Cause
Mm-hmm.
uh, so then for okay, so for torso, cause I got the torso if I want them to be shirtless. But then you would what? You would have the arms with no torso, so the arms could be exposed.
Yep.
Okay, but it has to be really precise though, huh?
Yeah, the seams just have to be in the same place. Just make sure you're cutting in the right place.
But I mean,
Um,
what if it's just the oh I have to try the armor on the character in Blender and then cut it at that seam so I can know that that's what
yes.
should be empty on the torso.
Yes.
Okay.
Like you should. It like I'm trying to think of a good. There's a good example actually I can show of what you do. Hang on. It's on YouTube, I think. Remember if I can find it. Um, there's one tutorial I saw like years ago. I wonder if I can find it. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So you'll see in this video, and I put it in the chat. Hold on. There we go. In this video, and this guy I would recommend for all 3D modeling and stuff. He does great work. But you can see in this example here, like he's taken the body of the character and he's literally just extruding out and making the shapes of the clothing. And that will rigged to the skeleton, the same skeleton.
Okay,
Um,
that's how I made my armor. I brought my real illusion character in Blender and I just molded the armor around him. So it's pretty much
yeah,
shaped already for it.
that's it. So, but as long as it's rigged to the same bones, because you can do proximity rigging with it to the bone to what it is on there, and it'll rig to the same skeleton. I mean, best thing to do is just look at the stylized modular character, and you can see exactly how it works.
Okay. All right, cool. So, okay,
It's,
I just didn't.
it's not you don't have to play a naked body. It's different from that.
You don't have to what?
So it's not the player's naked body and then armor's put on top of it.
That's
It's
what I
not that.
thought. That's what I thought. Yeah,
No,
but
it's the body is the armor.
okay, so have you ever played Division?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a Division 2 content creator, and I want to make my armor system basically like that when you put the armor on, and I want my map to be like that. So, I mean, you explained basically about the map and everything and underground and stuff. That's how. So basically, that's as easy as you do underground. That's how you do it, huh? You don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. It's just
just
that.
make sure you is in the right area.
Yeah. And if because it's all modular, it won't render anything above ground. Then the only underground it'll render that bit. Um,
Can't get over how amazing that is.
That's why, by the way, the especially Division One, New York was such a great setting for it because New York is just blocks of massive buildings, so you can't see really anything in New York. So it's like rendering only a very small amount.
That's how.
That's why it could have
Yeah,
all these details and things going on.
where you're at.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. So
because
you
it
just
does that.
blocking everything. That is
Yeah, yeah,
crazy. Oh my goodness, that is crazy. So like if you okay, so if you do all of these full buildings without modularity and you see something in the distance in New York,
uh
it's gonna
huh.
render that whole building. All of those buildings is gonna render, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Imagine playing a game like Spider-Man without modularity. If you got to jump in the air, you see the whole city. It's going to render the whole damn thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, your PS4 will just blow up.
Yeah.
I think it would just take a gun out and shoot itself because it would just be insane for it. Um, so yeah, modularity is really good for that thing. There's other little things as well that game developers will do. I don't know if you've ever noticed these things, but for example, in Division, another great example. Division's full of great examples of this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the You try and count how many windows you can actually look through. You'd be surprised how little windows there are. Considering you're like in New York, most windows are either boarded up, dirty beyond able to go through them, or covered up with curtains or covered up with something else. That there's very few actual glass in Division Two, Division. Maybe Division Two. I haven't played Division Two, but it is.
Division is better.
If you look there, you'll see just how little glass there is, and the reason why is because glass is expensive to render.
Really.
Yeah, because what it's doing is it's got to render the glass object, and it's got to render every object behind the glass. So it's rendering two things. And if that glass has refractions or reflections, then it's got to render those as well. And most reflections in games are fake anyway.
This all
Um,
makes sense, bro, because like this is the fake. These are fake. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
they're just pictures. Yeah.
yeah.
You like going to any bathroom in a video game. Chances are their mirrors will be all smashed or
And
broken
it
or
doesn't work.
dirty or not
Yep.
using. Yeah, because mirrors are expensive. And a sidetrack, but a little cool little fact about how they did it in olden games. In Duke Nukem, one of the original Duke Nukem games, there's a scene where you're in a bathroom and you can see yourself in the mirror, and people were like amazed by this and like wondering how it's done. Well, it's not actually a reflection. What they did was they put another Duke Nukem and made another room that's mirrored to it on the other side of the wall. And what you're actually seeing is actually another room with another Duke Nukem that's just mirroring your actions. So it looks like a mirror, but actually it's
Being
not.
creative. There you go.
You're seeing thing.
They're being
Yeah, and
creative.
that's how they did it back in the 90s. But nowadays, if we're going to have like actual real time reflection like that with ray tracing, thankfully with ray tracing we can actually achieve a lot of this stuff, but that's still very taxing on the system. We try to limit where we can if we can avoid it. Everything's give and take. So if you've got ray tracing, great, but then that's going to take up a lot more power.
So I'd have to build
Um,
this. I'd have to go ahead and build this freeway again instead of just this one
yeah,
piece.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Modularity is king.
Okay. I guess I got a lot of work to do. um. Okay. So when I followed uh your animation tutorial, it's like the run wasn't smooth. The blend space wasn't. Let me show you my run. Like I had to take
Mm-hmm.
off the. I took the aim offset off of here
Okay,
because it just changed. It was just weird. It just changed everything.
sure.
Like you see how it's stuttering? Hold on.
Oh yeah.
All right, now you see how it's not fluid.
Yep. So that.
And then like when I run, right? You see how the legs are? Like why is it going so slow? It's not.
Right. Okay.
But this is consistent, right?
What's that? Your sprint, is it?
Yeah, that's a sprint. But it's like it's weird. I don't know. Maybe I don't have the right animations. And then when I don't know how to turn and make my camera turn and look at my character. Like I did the
Okay.
free look, but I don't know. And yeah, like you see that just stopping. And
Uh huh.
it's just not like fluid. And then when I went to the
Okay.
movement blend, I even some of the animations I got the animations from Reillusion, uh,
Mhm.
iClone, but I just started learning like rigging like crazy, and I'm really I have a good imagination, and I was thinking about making my own animations, runs, and all of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I might just scrap all of these because I don't have enough to because the run left and run right, the back is not the same. It just messes it up because you
Mm.
got to have the right source for the animations in order for it to be smooth, right? It can't be
Mm. Yeah.
different ones.
Yeah.
So is this not being smooth just a matter of me having the right aim offset animation?
So the aim offset, chances are when it's doing a stuttery thing, if you open up your aim offset, take a look at it.
Uh, I gotta go back to animation
Yeah. Yeah.
and click on it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
see?
So right. So that movement that you're seeing there isn't correct. He shouldn't be moving really at all. Okay. So the reason why he's probably doing that is that your aims have animation on them.
Yes, they do.
So if you go to the asset details on the left hand side, don't know if you can change it here. If not, we can go somewhere else to change it. Can you scroll down? No, okay, you have to change it somewhere else. Okay, it's fine. If you go back to the player and in BP, okay, and on the right hand side on details, scroll down the details page up top. That's it. So play rate, change the play rate of this to 0, so it doesn't animate.
No, I have to compile it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So what was happening
wait.
was it's taking animations and mixing them together with the aim offset.
Yeah,
The aim
I
offset,
knew it was doing that, but I didn't know how to.
yeah.
Why is it
So
still
that
doing it right here?
because we haven't, this is not changing the play rate on this. We're only changing the animation blueprint. Like this is the source of it. We're changing at the end.
So I have to figure out where to change the play rate.
Well, if you want to change it on here, although all these animations you've put into here, if you click on each one, you can change each one's play rate down to 0.
Oh, oh, that's
If you
how you
right
do
click
it.
on it, yeah, right click on them and it'll tell you.
These
Yeah, you can change the play rate down there to 0.
rate scale.
Yep, and you do that to each one of them, and it'll
Why is it
affect.
0, 0?
I don't think it likes being set to 0, but nonetheless, the it's far easier to change it on animation blueprint. Saves a lot of time. But the reason why it was doing that stuff is because an aim offset is what we call additive animation, which basically means it'll add it onto whatever animation it's currently doing. So if your aim offset is animating, it's going to do this on top of the other animation. So you basically had two idols doing this little breathing bop twice, and that's why it's doing that.
Still doing it. Oh, it was the one
Okay. So the other thing that you probably need to do as well, and the reason why the feet are going weird, is because probably the aim offset hasn't been split into two parts. So essentially, what you're doing is you're adding the feet position here. I don't actually. It shouldn't. Like it looks as though you're adding another animation to the feet, and it makes them slow down. So I'm wondering if you're adding the position of these feet to that. Um, so if you were to play this, are the feet still messed up?
in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I couldn't understand like why.
really messed up. Okay, so um, Yeah. So what you're going to do here is you're going to do a layered blend per bone with the aim offset.
Layered blend per bone.
Yep. And what we're going to do is basically cut the body in half and make top half with the aim offset and the feet to like normal.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you go to the animation blueprint, and so the state machine you got there,
Mhm.
disconnect that state machine, and from the state machine, drag out another node out and call it. It's called save cache. CACHE.
That
Yep. And you can name it whatever you want. You click on it, you can name it because unless you like to remember save pose 1 3 whatever it is.
what half the feet or something? What feet?
Yeah. I usually call mine like the after state machines. I like go like movement cache, for example. So the reason why you have to cache it is because animation can't be split into two branches on this graph. It has to be only one. It's like it's 1 to 1. So what you do is you
Wait,
basically
say that
store it
again.
into so animation lines like you've got here, like going from the little man icons. These can't be split in between two. They can only go 1 to 1. They can't go into multiple places.
Right.
And we're going to need it to do multiple places. So what a cache does is basically says store this stuff, this animation data in this bucket, and then other things will look in this bucket and read from it.
Like a branch,
Um,
kinda.
kind of like a branch, yeah.
So why does
So
he look all messed up right now?
because we've disconnected it from the aim offset.
Ah, okay.
So what you're going to do now is if you just right click somewhere and search for movement cache, you'll see movement cache. Be the same one you've called here. Probably scroll up.
Oh,
Use cache to pose movement cache. Okay, and that's basically a copy of the state machine animation. So with that, you're going to drag out from the animation man icon.
right here, right here.
No, from there. That's it. From there, and search for layered blend per bone.
Man, you got some knowledge on your. I be
So
wondering
what?
how you man. I was looking at your videos. Like, how does he know all of this stuff, man?
I don't know. I don't know myself. So with the layered blend per bone, when you click on that green node, you can now set where you want to cut it, basically. So click on the node, the whole thing. That's it. So in the top corner, you see the configuration for it. And if you open up the layer setup, it says layer setup. You got a little arrow. Click that arrow, and then click on that again. And you go branch filters. And you're going to add a new branch filter. So click the plus icon and open it up. The 0. That's it. And this would be where you're going to make your where you're going to be the branching animations.
Where the bone is at?
So yeah, you need to put the bone name in it. And I usually do mine at the first spine bone. So it's like the near the tailbone of the character, basically. So if you look at the skeleton of the character and find the bone you want to use, you can click. You can say you could have just clicked on the skeleton node up in the top right. It's
Oh,
quicker.
oh. So I'll go
If you
here.
open it back up, and in the top right, you see skeleton. Just hit skeleton there. Takes you to it. Yeah. So yours
It's
is
right
called
here.
spine_01. Okay.
Okay.
So go back to your enemy P, and in that node, just click on it again. That's it. And then type in there exactly as it was. So spine_01.
Was it a capital?
No, it's lowercase. Okay. And that's it. So now we've got this cache pose going to here. I want you now to copy that use cache pose, make another one.
This or this?
The cache, yeah, the black one, and paste it in. Now that one's going to go into the aim offset.
The front part.
Mm-hmm. And then the aim offset is going to go into blend pose 0 on that layered blend per bone. So the base pose is the movement stuff like normal, and then the blended part is going to go into the blend pose 0 and blend that on top of it.
So
Disconnect that from there.
Okay, yeah, because I kind of lost you. Okay.
And that
It's
goes
gonna go
into
in
the
here.
layered. That goes into the layered blend bone into the blend pose 0.
Oh, okay, I
See?
see. All right.
Yep. And that's it. And then you just drag the other side of that into the output pose. And that's now splitting the animation at that spine 0 1 point. So everything above the spine 0 1 is going to be connected to that is going to be using the aim offset. Everything else is going to be using the normal movement. So the feet should be left alone. They're not going to do nothing.
So the state machine is what grabs the animation up
Uh huh.
top.
Uh huh. Yep.
Okay, and this is what. Okay,
Yep. And they
so
get stored in
this is
there.
basically a rework, a way to just add other things in there. Okay.
Hmm. So now test it out. You should see your feet move normal in relation to the aim offset.
I didn't mean to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but it's still because I'm looking down. That's why.
Maybe, yeah. It depends on how you're doing your movement settings, but yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But the
I
feet are
still
now
don't.
not
But
attached to aim offset.
right. So I still don't. I mean, I still don't have the left and right animations in the blend space. So that's probably why
Maybe,
it's still
yeah.
doing it also because I need to with the right. See, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, you have to put that in there.
It's much better though anyway. All right,
Hmm.
cool, man.
Okay, so now do you want to do the camera turn when he stops? You can turn around and look at him.
Yeah, but I had another question about because the rigging thing is very important, and
Okay.
when it comes to because I'm kind of confused about just how like I'm thinking there's two ways I can go. I could either make my own animations and apply it to the skeleton I have right now,
Yep.
or because they have a lot of animations for the UE4 skeleton. Which one do you think I should do? Because if I could get my Reillusion characters rigged to the UE4 skeleton, then I could do whatever I want. You know what I mean? As
Yep.
far as the animations, just applying to the animation blueprint.
Have you tried you just retargeting the illusion
I've
skeleton to it?
tried, and it looks like. Let me hold on, man. I'm about to show you the retarget that I did, bro. Retargeting disaster.
Yeah, retargeting is a pain.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Come on, man." I just gave it up. Like, I mean, I fixed it a little bit, but it was still. You see his
Yeah.
shoulders? Like,
Yeah.
what is that, dude? And I was just like, I'm
Yeah.
not retargeting nothing anymore. But I
Yeah.
mean, it worked out because then it kind of made me learn other things, because retargeting is just kind of like I would say the lazy way of doing things. Is it? I don't want to really say that.
It's
It's a
it's just
convenience.
it's a convenient tool, yeah, that
Yeah.
helps with it, yeah.
But I mean,
Um,
if you want to be customizing, you don't really want to.
Chances are, if you're making like a full fledged game, like the people in like me making God of War, for example, have got their own custom rigs to use,
Right. Right.
and they're doing it all with that because they're professionals. They've got the resources to do so. But if you
Retargeting,
haven't got the
I should do retargeting though because then it's just me. You know what I mean? So
well, it depends on like. I mean, I personally detest rigging and animation. I hate doing it.
I.
So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
always choose retargeting if I can do it because I just hate doing it personally.
This
That's
run
my
is way
personal
better,
thing. I
bro.
just
Look, I like.
there you
It slows down though, but I need to figure that out.
go. But
That
as so, yeah, just you pick and choose your battles. And I give up on rigging. I'm not going to try and be good at it. I know the basics of it. I can get by with just the basics, but
so you
character
okay?
wise,
So
yeah.
all right for the like if okay when I look at skeleton for my character, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, like this looks like chicken scratch to me. Like
Uh,
that, and that's how it came in from Real Illusion. Like, what is all of that? All I want is the bones to be the same for UE4. Like, and I was
what's
trying to.
going on?
This is what I did. I brought my character in the blender,
Yeah.
and I have the Auto Rig Pro.
Yep.
Um, and the thing is, I just don't understand like it's so many bones when you look at that in in the Unreal Engine, right? All of these bones over here. But when you're rigging, it's
Yeah.
only like what, three spine bones, two leg bones, and the finger.
Yeah.
Like,
I
what's all
mean,
this stuff for? You know what I mean?
most of that is fingers. You see there.
Oh,
The
just
other
each
ones.
one.
Yeah, they've done every single toe, every single finger, every single like, and it's not just one finger. There's like four bones in each finger, or three bones in each finger. They're
Oh,
doing.
so it's just mostly fingers then.
That's mostly fingers. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if I wanted to rig my skeleton to the UE4 skeleton, all I would have to do is look at which bones are which, and what their names are, and rig it
Yeah.
the exact same way,
Yeah. Theoretically, yeah.
and then it should work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Just because the naming convention is one of the most important things, right?
Yeah. It kind of breaks it. It makes it harder to retarget because you have to like read it and manually do it. But
But once you got the rig,
uh,
you got the rig. You're good.
yeah. Once you've rigged one, I mean, it's, again, theoretically, as long as your characters are all sort of the same sort of humanoid shape, it makes it a lot easier.
All right. So I think I'm then with that in mind. I might rig it to the UE4 skeleton and then use animations because they have some amazing animations for the mannequin.
Yeah. Let's say that's the thing I like using is why you like using UE4 skeleton because again, I hate animation. I'm not very good at it, but other people are, and they've got some amazing packs on there. So that's the thing I've probably bought the most on the marketplace is animations, just because I can't do them. So and I don't have to, I mean I could probably learn, but I don't have time to learn. So I'm gonna buy them. Same with
I'm a
music and
very
sound effects.
visual person, man, and I love
So
like making my own stuff. I feel
yeah.
like I can make some really good animation. I made this blender. I made all my armor
Nice.
and stuff, and
Hmm.
just show you something. A lot of things that I made. This is one of the armor chest pieces I made, and this I got a whole system of how I wanna do it, and people will
Good.
understand it later on. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really like the idea of creating stuff. So if I have a rig to the UE4 skeleton, and at the same time I can make my animations, then I have the best of both worlds, right? Because I can use my
Yeah.
engine,
Yeah. True.
but it just
Yeah.
has to be rigged to the UE4 skeleton.
Yeah. Ideally, I mean, don't forget that considering how much resources you have, like for example, with UE4 skeleton, you have every single Paragon character as well, and all their animations. They come with a lot of animations, and you can
Wow.
use all of those as well for free. So there's I don't think people realize when they
Power,
sort of
yeah.
Paragon characters, they're like, oh cool, we got characters. Like no, you got more than that. You got animations. They're the cool bit.
So UE4 skeleton is the way to go.
I personally would say so. I mean, everyone that puts it on the storefront, animations on there,
Is it
the
rigged to
majority,
UE4 skeleton? They'd be like, yes, because they be wanting it to
yeah,
be like that. Yeah.
everyone wants a uniform skeleton.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
it's almost like a standardized thing on there now,
Yeah.
which is very nice. The only thing that won't you can't do on the uniform skeleton is obviously like facial capture stuff. But typically in games, another little side note for games that do it and what we do with it, when you see a cutscene in the game,
That's the only
a
time
lot
they
of
have
them,
it.
yeah, they only have it there. But do you know that most games have two models for the main character?
Of
They'll have
course.
the in-game one
Of
and the
course.
cinematic one.
Bro, trust me. I'm gonna
Good.
use all my trailers and all my cutscenes from Reillusion, and you already know what they
Good.
got under what they got
Yeah,
going
you
on
got
with them.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, they got.
But there's one website I always recommend someone to look at, or I recommend all my students look at, is this website here for level design. This website here called NoClip. I think it's dot website. Hang on, let me make sure that's right. But basically, someone who's very clever has basically taken load of levels from video games and in a web browser made it so a fly around camera, so you can actually explore levels from existing games and see how they're constructed.
Really?
It's bloody cool, and you can see like textures on some of them. You can see the effects on some of them. Most of them are Nintendo games, but there are some others that aren't. Like for example, there's Grand Theft Auto 3 on there. Final Fantasy,
See those some
SpongeBob
of their
SquarePants.
tips and tricks how they used to do how to do
Yeah,
it.
it's really cool. And I strongly recommend everyone look at them. I always for myself just curious to look around, and you can just see how the world is made. You can see all the cheats they do, all the game developer cheats, and see how they
NoClip.com.
Grand Theft Auto and how it breaks that all
This
apart.
is it.
You can see that all there.
This is it.
No, that's not it. No,
What is it?
it's noclip.website.
Oh, NoClip.website.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, me either. Oh,
Yeah, there you go. So all these games down here, you can click on them, and it'll load it in browser for you, and you can fly around your camera and have a look. It's really cool.
DC Dark Souls. Oh, okay.
And he's always adding more games to it as well. Like I follow him on Twitter, and say he's very clever. Obviously to do all this, basically he's re-rendering an engine in a browser. It's bloody clever.
Oh, wow. So this is gonna give me some tips.
Yeah, it's a great resource just to see how levels were constructed. You can see the sort of like little tips and tricks of how things were made. Like for cutscenes as well, you usually have like a little stage area, so it's not actually part of the
Wow.
level in some games. Like for example, like Last of Us, it's a little stage area. It's just there like a Hollywood set.
How do I
They film it like a
navigate?
Hollywood film. WA, it's the same
Yeah, it just
as
turned white though when I tried to do
UE4.
that. I'll, I'll
I
figure it
don't
out. I'll figure it out later.
know.
But
Yeah, figure it out. Have a play around.
so how do I customize the post processing volume when I have it? Just go to the place actors, like,
So you got all those settings. Experiment with all of those.
huh?
Um,
You cut out. What'd you say?
but if you want to make your own, sorry, if so, you got all those settings already in the post process volume that you can change. But you can, as I said, you can also make your own materials that handle post processing. And again, you can do whatever you want with those.
So okay,
I
let's say
can happily show
if I
you
go
the
here,
basics of that if you want.
if I go to the post processing right here, how would I customize it right now? Where are the settings at? In
Yeah,
details? It's in the details, right?
yeah, in details. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but then this was affecting the whole area. So what I would take off the infinite
The infinite
extent,
extent.
and
Turn
then
off that.
okay,
Yeah,
and then it'll just be within that.
and then yeah, and more importantly, it's when the camera's in it, not when the player's in it. So it goes from the camera point of view, not the character.
So
Bear that in mind.
so wait a minute. So like when you go into that area, you're not gonna be able to experience those effects as a player.
Yeah, but only if your camera goes into that box.
Oh, so okay, so the
Like,
spring arm once it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. As long as that goes in it, then it'll turn on. It will like fade in.
Uh,
Yeah. So something people often get wrong. They'll think it's the player character that triggers it. It's not. It's the camera.
okay, and so like when I'm going in certain buildings, I noticed this is just basically changing the camera when I'm playing to get like changing the settings. Because when I go inside of a building, it'll
Uh-huh.
it's hitting the wall, so I would have to like zoom it in, and when I go like how do I change that when I'm in buildings and stuff? You know what I mean? I have to change the camera.
I can't see. It's lagging like hard. Hold on.
See, because it's
Right.
still
Hang on.
lagging.
So it's lagging like mad. So what's happening? I can't see it too clearly.
Okay,
The
so
camera's colliding with the walls. You say?
yeah, like when I go inside a building, the camera is not. It's the spring arm is where it's at, right? It doesn't adjust when you go in the building. So is there how do I
Oh,
make the
okay.
camera
Yeah.
adjust
Sure.
when I go in small areas and buildings? Just make sure it doesn't show the outside of the wall
Yeah.
when I'm inside.
Yeah. So if you open up your player character, there's a tick box that turns that on.
Uh-huh. Viewport? Is it still
Hold on.
lagging?
It's catching up. So if yeah, it's like I think it's like a few second delay. So click on the spring arm.
Okay.
Okay. And oh, you have got collision test on. So the thing that does that, that pushes the camera in when it hits a wall, is the collision test, and you've already got it turned on. However, it is only doing it on a probe channel of camera. So I'm wondering if that wall has been set to ignore camera probes. So to test this out, if you go click on that building that you had the issue with, or at least that the wall part that you were looking at,
Mhm.
click on that building.
Why is it
Lag.
frozen?
Hang on. uh,
Okay. Where do I go?
okay. So now, if you scroll down to the collision settings on here,
Okay.
I'll just realize as well, it may also have something to do with that you're using complex collision, but nonetheless,
Want me to click on the
so
building?
on the
Want me to click on the building so I can go to
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Bro.
okay,
Okay. This is what you were talking about.
yeah. So if you scroll down to the collision settings,
Yeah, it says use complex collision. It's simple.
yeah, we can't change that, otherwise you can't walk into the building for now. But if you go to collision presets and open up the presets here, where it says block all, the little arrow, that's it, and that is set to block camera. So I'm guessing then the camera probe won't respect complex collisions.
Oh, really?
I'm guessing so. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's the problem.
Oh,
Does it have any simple collision on it?
I just put all of them for complex. It's simple. And you know what? It might change after I do everything with modularity.
Yeah, it will. It will fix it once you change it all back. But for now, right at the top, you see it says collision, little green button.
Sorry, hold on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's like yeah, say a few second delay. Okay, and on that collision button right at the top in the middle, you can choose to see the simple
This.
collision. No, 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 up top in middle. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Click on that, and then choose simple collision. Okay, is it got any green outlines anywhere? No,
Purple.
no. Okay, cool.
What does that
So
mean? It
that
says
is
green.
complex collision. So you don't have. So the green collision is when it's green. That's a simple collision. That's the normal collision that we want to use typically. But here you're using complex collision. So every single. This is what I mean by lag. You can see every single one of those crisscrosses every time it intersects. That's a collision point it has to calculate. It gets
And it
messy.
doesn't do that with
Um,
modular.
so no,
Uh,
modular would be like a simple box. So modular will look like this. If you click on up top where it says collision, next to like where it says file, edit, asset, mesh, collision, click on that
I'm there.
and click on add box simplified collision. hmm
Oh, I see it.
Again, is that a green now
Yeah,
one
yeah,
showing?
yeah. It's
Yep.
green.
So that's
But can you go
that's a
in there
simple
though?
collision. That is no. Well, you will be able to, but hopefully the camera won't. The camera will get stuck inside the building with you. So test that out, see if that works. Because at the moment you're using complex collision as your main
Okay, but when I
collision.
do all of the
So
modular
your
parts,
character
then it's
will
not gonna
ignore
work.
it, but
When I do
the
all of.
camera would hopefully respect it.
Hello, can you hear me? Is it a lag on the voice too?
Yeah,
So you can hear me?
I don't know. I can hear you though.
Okay, all right. So when I do the simple collision for the modular for each piece, it's not gonna be a big box, but it's gonna be like a
No.
green box on each
Yeah.
one. All right, let me see.
So technically, it will actually be very much like that. There may you can add multiple simple collisions to it as well. So, like for example, a door frame usually has 3 simple collisions around it. It has 3 boxes, one on the left, one on the right, one at the top, to make the doorway. And that's quite common. You can do that, and you can also do it in Blender. You can actually make the collision pieces in Blender if you want, and import them in with it. There's a naming convention if they call them for that though. So
So
does the
it's
camera get stopped now by the wall?
no, it doesn't.
So you can still like put the camera on the outside of the building with you
Yeah,
inside of it. Okay, it's probably that setting. Then once you
it's
get
probably
rid of
just
the
a
complex
setting.
collision, that's simple.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you go to modulate, it'll fix that.
Basically, from this session I had, man, with you, I'm coming to the conclusion that I just have a lot more work to do.
Sorry.
But
It's the
you're really
it,
helping. Let me close Blender down because it's like
oh, I can't hear you now. I don't know if you can hear me.
yeah, I heard you.
Uh, can you not hear me?
I
Can you?
I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So I couldn't hear any of that last whatever you last said.
All right, let me see something. I said basically from the conclusion, from everything I've learned from you today, is that I have a lot of work to do, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do it because
Good.
I just love this.
That's good. Yeah, I always say to people, treat it like a hobby, like as if you're learning guitar or learning to or doing sewing or any kind of arts and crafts. It's the same as that. Treat it like that and enjoy it. Enjoy the process of learning it and making stuff.
Yes, see,
Um,
I can't get in now.
and yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah,
and and the
yeah,
camera
exactly
will
why.
not go through the wall.
Yeah, so that's that
Okay,
doing
so
that.
the
Yeah.
modularity would fix that because then I'd be able to
Yep.
um okay.
Hmm.
So then I could can I
Yep.
adjust the simple collisions to make it more wide or narrow?
Yeah. So in that static mesh view, you can click on the green box and you can scale it, move it,
Okay.
rotate it,
All right, cool.
do whatever you want with it. You can add multiple to them. Yeah.
All right, there was another question I had to ask about yeah, so I think one of my challenges is gonna be to try. I don't know if I'm not gonna say it's a challenge, but basically I just have to be precise with the rigging. Literally go and look at the have like a something right next to me that shows the bones of the Ue4 skeleton, and then rig the Realusion character to that, and then bring it into Ue4. Then I'll have the skeleton for good, right?
I mean, you could you could export the UE4 skeleton and import it into Blender if you wanted.
I did that, but like, how do I get that? It's weird. Like, okay, if I have a Realusion character and I import him in there from Realusion, and doesn't it ask me which skeleton I want to use? You know what I mean, Ryan?
So I lost that. Lost the last part of that half. Heard you last say importing a character from Illusion, and then it cut out.
So if I import a character in from Realusion, doesn't it ask me which skeleton I want to use? It cut out again.
Yeah, but it will ask it's basically saying because you can import in. So when you like, for example, when you import a character in with animations, you import in first of all the skeleton with maybe the idle animation, maybe. But then every other animation you bring in, you want to choose a skeleton that those animations use, and that's why it's asking you to use it. choose a skeleton to match it to. Otherwise, it'll import in another skeleton, which is just a copy of the same one you've already got. It's not what it's not doing is assigning a skeleton to it. It's just saying this is the one it should be trying to use, successfully or not.
But shouldn't you assign your skeleton to your character, whatever skeleton to whatever character you're using?
Yeah, but if you're using a skeleton that is like universal, it could be applied to multiple meshes.
And what would be a universal one? Just the UE4 one?
Well, like for example, if you do all your characters are human,
Uh
then
huh.
it's really simple because they're all the same mesh. They're all the same rig. They're all the same skeleton. So they all use that same skeleton. Every single character. So like the division, for example, really easy. They're all human. So I mean, there's not even animals in that one. Like you can just make all humans. So it makes it really easy.
All right, can I show you something real quick?
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm doing this. I already have a real character that I can import in. It's funny. Sometimes I just like freeze up because I'll be forgetting what I need to ask you.
That's all right.
Okay. Um. At. This is very annoying. Okay. Oh, I think I know where it's at. Hmm. This is the one thing that I just need to know, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't find the freaking FBX file. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, so man, you solved so many problems for me today. Thanks. Okay, so when I export this, right,
Mm-hmm.
to Unreal, mesh in motion, like what is that? The motion is the rig? Like what do they mean when they say mesh in motion?
Um, I would guess so. Click on the drop down.
Because you could just do mesh or the motion.
Mesh motion.
I
Oh,
think the
okay.
motion is the
I guess.
animation.
Yeah, but that would go and come with the rig and the skeleton all done. So, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I guess if you don't want the motion, you can just have the rig. I'm guessing that the mesh will come with the rig on its own, but like an A pose or T pose.
But it doesn't give me the option to do any pose.
Oh, or maybe it's just a mesh then. Okay, put it as motion then. You'll need it mesh and motion then. You can't choose any pose.
But there was a way
What?
that they were allowing me to do that, though. You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
able to pick it before.
Default pose. Yeah, you should be able to choose a pose. Because ideally, you would like pick a pose because that's what the UE4 mannequin's set to. Don't know. What happens if you just choose just motion? Go back to mesh.
Give me 1 second. Because I was, they were allowing me to pose in a certain way from here, but I don't think that matters. This is weird. I literally did this last time and whatever. Um, I just want to show you something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's under C project folder. I have an A pose here that I did. Okay, now this is the basically character created auto setup. So I'll do that. I guess it just separates everything. But okay, so now this already has a skeleton, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I import it, how would I make this to where I want it to be the UE4 skeleton?
You have to retarget it. You have to bring it in with its own skeleton first, and you have to retarget its skeleton over.
But that's what made it look all deformed.
Yeah. So you got two options. You can either do it retargeting that way, or you bring the UE4 skeleton
In the
into
blender,
modeling software and rig it there. Yeah.
and then rig it just like we talked about earlier, exactly the bones.
Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you have to retarget.
Okay. Okay, so basically, what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be my workflow. I'm gonna use the Real characters because I love how they look. I love how you can customize them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Make one rig, so I can have one rig for all of them. Basically, the UE4 skeletal rig, and then cut the body parts like we discussed. And just
Mm-hmm.
utilize the animations from the mannequin for whatever animations I want to do. And if I want to make an animation, then I'll do that also. So I can have the best of both worlds. Does that sound pretty like something that
Yeah.
I could?
Yeah. That
Okay.
sounds right.
Now the blend space. Real quick before you leave,
Mm-hmm.
can you show me how to make my character look with the amp while the camera's
Yeah.
um
While he's standing still.
yeah, but the screen is frozen for some reason.
I was trying to import in a character. It's probably trying to compile the shaders of it.
Yeah, you know one thing about me, man. If I can't get past something, I'm gonna just stay on that one area frustrated, and I don't know. I just feel like I want to know how to do it, but then I just have to
Mm-hmm.
really painstakingly just start working on something else. But these are questions that I've asked you about the map and just how to make a good project is what's helping me out a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, because now I know how to make a sewer system. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
simpler than I thought. But the modularity is very that's like one of the main things right there I didn't even know about. I thought it was better the other way.
Oh yeah.
That'd
No.
be less
No.
on the system. I thought that if it was a whole bunch of separate parts, then they would have to render all those separate parts as
Nope.
opposed to,
Nah. All modular.
okay.
And then you get into like materials and the textures and making sure they're there not taxing the system as well. Because there's two things that will tax the system. One is the polygonal count, like how detailed the models are, and the other one is draw calls. And draw calls is basically imagine like textures as like pots of paint, and
Yeah.
for it to draw the textures onto the screen, you have to dip the brush into the paint pot to paint them on. The more paint pots you have, the longer it's going to take. So it's going to keep it more. We call it a draw call, basically. So if you've got more textures being utilized in a single shot, then like texture files, I mean, like different files, then that's more files that's to load up in memory and read and write to all the time.
But that goes hand
So
in hand though with
they also affect that.
doesn't that go hand in hand with the fact that whatever it
They can
sees,
do.
then it's not gonna.
They yes, yeah, that's true. Yes, but there are things you can do. For example, a lot of modular pieces will use the same.
I can't hear you, man. It crashed, Ryan.
A thing on here.
It crashed. Hello?
Hello. Yeah. The stream's just crashed.
Yeah.
Um,
So is that why people use interior only meshes and exterior only
yeah,
meshes?
yeah, typically, yeah.
Okay. Uh,
So there's this website here. Okay. A good website to use, by the way, in general. But I think it was this guy. Maybe it wasn't this guy. Hold on. No, hold on. I'll go back. I will find it. It is cool. Matthew Grimm. That's it. Yeah,
that's
this one.
okay.
So this website, this guy's portfolio, right? Look at this level this guy made. Yeah, everything you see there is textured with one texture. Everything. There's one single texture in there.
What?
So you can get clever with it, and you can be. This is super optimized. Like this is extreme. No, you wouldn't normally like be this pedantic about it, but this is just an example to show just how optimized you can get with textures and UE4. So yeah, using just one texture and extreme materials to do this, it
Wait,
only has
so
one.
so wait a minute. Did he have different um he had a lot of different modular walls?
Yeah, it's all modular, but if you scroll down, you can see how he does it. So like the texture is what we call a trim sheet, and basically using just this basic texture, he modeled, he managed to texture the whole entire environment.
So he used
That
UV.
includes computer screens, that includes stickers and decals and pipes and lights and even the exterior scenes, everything. Everything's done with one texture.
I'm not really experiencing UV mapping.
Yeah, no, it's extreme. Yeah, but
Extreme in
it,
UV mapping. Yeah.
yeah, so you can see just like how like yes it would be like oh yeah okay you'll only have like one texture shown per model, but that's fine, that's normal, but then you can go the other way and make it super optimized and have things like this.
You don't have to do that though. You can still be
No, yeah, no, this is just an extreme example to show that it can be done. Oh,
I'm just gonna make sure I use all like interior or exterior. I'm trying to save a lot of. I'm gonna try to
yeah.
save. I just have to think on it. This knowledge is
Hmm.
helping me out to understand better way to go. And
Yeah.
real quick before you leave, can you show me how to do that? And then because it's
What so you say show you what?
the turning my character.
Yeah, if you share your screen again I can walk you through it. So the thing that controls that camera on the player character is if you go open up the player character blueprint, and if you go to the
See, I have the free look right here.
and what input's that doing? Okay, so it's input action. Okay, so you got free look doing this. Okay, so what you actually want to do then is there's a setting. So click on the class defaults.
Class
Which is,
defaults. Where's that at?
yeah, two options. You can either go to click on the player character self in that window there that you're in, right at the top. That shows the class defaults on the right hand side. So at the moment, you can see here the
Oh, it's
pawn.
not. It's not.
Ignore that. Don't worry about that. No, that's just the default value. Don't worry about that. Um, the bit we're looking at here is on the pawn section. It says use controller rotation yaw is ticked on. What that means is that the whole character is going to turn and rotate based on the yaw that
Of the blueprint.
the controller. So as you turn the controller to left and right to turn around, the whole act is going to turn as well. So all you do is on that look, if you right click and search for use controller rotation yaw.
On the free look right here.
Yeah, so on here, somewhere in the graph here, just right click an empty space and search for use controller rotation yaw, and you want to use the set one. So set use controller rotation yaw. Okay, like so. And you want to make that true when you press make it false when you press the button and make it true when you release the button.
So take this off.
Yeah, you don't need to use those. So, and then copy that into the top one as well. Okay, so now plug that in. So the bottom one will be ticked because that's its default behavior. So now if you push play and do that input, your character should be able to turn.
What am I supposed to press though?
What's your free look associated to?
I don't know. I forgot.
Go to your project settings and have a look. So it's inputs, and free look is set to none at the moment. You haven't got it set to anything.
That's why it's not free looking.
So yeah, change it to something where it says free look. Change it to whatever you want to use.
Can I just do the mouse?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of this? Like, if I could do any, is it a button?
Yeah, any button, any input. This is like any input that will turn this on. Like how space bar to jump, you can make this any button you want.
But I want it to just be like
automatic.
When I'm looking, then you know what I mean.
What by default all the time turned on?
Yeah.
So you can free look all the time. Yeah.
Just like the Division.
I don't know. I played Division for so long, but okay. So if you go back to wait, no, Division. Oh, right, I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So so the free look on Division, if I remember rightly, only turns on when you're not moving. When you start moving, the camera goes behind you.
No, you know how you use the WASD to just run, and then you use the mouse to just free look.
Oh yeah, because you're playing on PC. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. So on consoles you can't do that. So on,
this is for the console setting. What you're trying to show me.
No. So if you go back to the player character, right, and just go to that use controller rotation yaw to turn it off. On the right hand side, in the class defaults, just turn that tick box off.
Just right here.
Now test it. So now you'll be able to move your character around. And you shouldn't follow the mouse.
Okay.
It shouldn't have it,
but it's going back to it.
So what you've also got ticked on then by looks of it is the use on the rotation settings. So if you go to your character movement, no. So if you go to the character movement settings on the character, there's a setting in there that makes it rotate towards where your mouse is basically pointing, or where your camera's pointing. So on the component list, you see character movement on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Click on that, and then on the right hand side, scroll down till you find the rotation settings. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Right, stop. So you see there that tick box. Turn that off.
You see how this is just something as simple as that, dude. Like.
Yeah. But now you should be able to
turn
that's
around.
What
I'm talking about, but it doesn't. Okay.
So because you've turned that off, you have to change the way the movement works. In that when you push forwards, you're going forwards based on which way you're. I can't remember at all how Division handles it. Like if you were to push forwards while looking at the character's face, what happens? Do they run towards the camera or run away from the camera?
Well, you just control it completely.
Yeah, but then how do you turn? compared to do you mean does A and D just turn his whole body left and right so he can turn left and right?
Yeah,
It doesn't
like
strafe.
it doesn't. It kind of like stays on the back area based on where he's going, kind of. You know what I mean?
No. So does it strafe when you're moving in division, or does it only strafe when you're looking down the rifle?
Let me show you. Um, See if you could. But I think that look at that getting past this first part is gonna be the most difficult. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, now you're gonna see it. Dude, we got. I think we gotta be a little more aggressive. Let me see.
If you
Try to. No, I did not clear that fast, bro. I'm trying to see if I could show you some movement.
you wanted
All
to
right.
inflict or treat, no idea what I have prepared. Call this not one of them. For me, during time, we need new content, or there are no more builds to make. Well, two of those statements are false, and a statement about there being no new builds to make is not one of them.
I don't
We
know.
need new content.
You can't really catch it here.
I'll see if I can find a video of that
Thought-
son walking
thought,
around.
man. What you thought?
Like gameplay, part 1, that would be fine because they're typically more exploratory there. Okay, yeah. So so it doesn't strafe unless you're aiming down sights. So if you push forwards, he'll always run forwards based on his actor's rotation, and then he'll turn left and right with A and D. He'll just turn.
Right.
So if you go to your character blueprint,
Okay.
you have to set up a whole aim down sight option to change all these settings as well. But essentially, when you're doing move right, so go to move forward and move right. So move forward here is using control rotation, which is not what you want to use. You want it to make it go forwards based on his I guess I don't know actually. It's hard to do it without actually controlling it. I'm watching this video. Hang on. Move forwards. When you push move forwards, he just goes whichever way you're looking. But then if you turn whilst you're moving forwards, does he turn? No.
No, he just looks. Because you're still right forward, but it's just like he's looking right or left, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But okay, say if you're standing still and you push forwards, does he go forwards based on his forwards or by the camera's forwards?
Based on he's forward.
Okay, so how do you turn him around smoothly then?
You have to use your WASD and analog stick. So like whatever direction you're turning with with the mouse rather, that's the way you have to go. You know, if you turn with the mouse right, you're pushing forward, he's still gonna be going forward. He's not gonna go right. But if you turn right with the mouse and turn right with D, he's going to go right and move his body right. You know what I mean?
I think so. Okay, so all right, we'll try a couple of things then. So first thing you want to try then is rather than use control rotation for the forwards, you want to use actor forward vector. So just right click somewhere here and get actor forward vector. And you want to plug that into the world direction on move forwards. So basically, they make him go forwards based and backwards
I can
based
put
on which
both
way
of them
he's.
in there.
Just that one.
It's gonna replace it.
Yeah.
I have to plug this in
Then
here for the controller rotation.
no, we want to leave that there. So with move right and move left, I think this is what I'm seeing. Again, hard to know without actually hands on. That moving left and moving right is relative to which way you're looking with the mouse.
Right.
So if you're looking to his side and you strafe, like to the right, he'll actually turn and run like based upon your mouse input. I'm guessing. So get control rotation, right vector. Hang on, holding. I'm imagining myself playing Division. Hold on.
Because if you're going forward, with W, and even if you look right with your mouse, you're still gonna be going forward.
He's going in a straight line, yeah.
Yeah, because you're just looking while you're running forward.
Yeah. But then if you say look to the right and you
then
push
go
right,
he's gonna turn.
but turn where? Like towards the camera?
Yes, towards wherever he's looking at. That's how you control it. You look right and you're gonna run it straight. And you go, oh, I want to go right.
Okay, well, I say hard to know about trying it out myself, but try this out. See how this feels to you. What feels wrong? What feels different? Because I can't tell. But play this and see what.
Oh, try this
feels
out
like.
now.
Yeah, see what this feels like to you. I mean, it probably is wrong, but I say it's hard to know without actually.
It's gonna give me 1 second, because it takes a little second when I play all these full static meshes. Oh my gosh. Sorry for taking more of your time, man.
That's okay. That's okay.
Alright.
What
What
does that feel like?
So look, I'm going straight. If
Yeah.
I could look right and I'm still going straight.
Yes, right. Yeah. But if you strafe now to the left, does that feel like how Division feel?
Then I'd have to change the right. See, look, this feels exactly how Division feels right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But when I go right, it doesn't do anything. It's just, it's not moving the character to the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So okay, what we'll do then is if you go back to the character component, the character.
It's not doing anything with left or right when I have my camera to the left or right. It's just.
So yeah, the reason why it's doing that is because it's based upon your camera. So because you're looking that way anyway, left and right is left and right in the camera view. So if you change this now to, if you just right click and do get actor right vector.
Just like the forward.
Mm-hmm. And plug that in to the what direction?
What's the point of the controller rotation, forward vector and
so
right
vector? Imagine the control rotation is the camera, because the camera is set to control rotation.
It just has to be there. Okay.
So that's what it was using before. We don't need it anymore if we're changing it, but so now he should be able to move forward, move left, move right, but he won't be able to turn around. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm struggling to imagine.
Yeah, see.
From like how do you turn around?
See, like, yeah. So you see how I'm doing this? In Vision, you could turn around as he's doing that and run that way.
I can't see what you're trying to do. So, right. So you're pushing.
Second. So like, why is it taking so long? Okay. So look, it's going while I'm holding forward. It'll go like diagonal a little bit, right? But if I go left, it's just gonna go left. If I go back, it's just gonna go back. But while I'm going forward, it's barely letting me go right. This is forward and right. This is right.
Yes. This is So the reason probably is that you're going up a big hill.
All right. How about if I? How come I can't turn around?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know how you turn around in Division. I can't remember or imagine how you're doing turning around. Because we've turned off the turnaround basically.
Really?
Yeah. So I have to play Division again. I ain't played it for years. get a handle and see what it does.
How would you turn around normally then?
Well, the way I typically done third-person shooters in the past is that use controller rotation yaw is I turn that off when they're standing still or close to slow, and then I turn it on when they start moving. So when they start moving, the camera zips behind them and they go into like normal third-person shooter mode. Otherwise, they're in exploration mode where they just walk around slowly and normally.
And I would have to do a whole new system for that.
You'd have to, you just return it back to how you were doing with use control rotation character, rather than the actor's forward vector.
But isn't that how I had it before?
Yeah, that's how you had it before. Yeah, but you'd have to like for example, okay, so plug it in back how it was with the control rotation going into the forward vector and the right vector.
Oops.
Okay, so now if you go back to your the character,
Okay.
and if you go to on the move forward here, after you add movement input, drag out from there and do use controller rotation yaw. And you want to turn that on when the input for this has gone greater than 0. So move that out a little bit, then right click and in empty space and search for move forward. And you'll see move forward values. Keep going forward. That's it. So value, bottom one.
This one?
No, second one.
Oh, the value, F?
Yeah. Okay. And you want to do a check on this. So you drag from that green pin and check if it's greater than 0.
Plus?
Greater than.
Oh,
Top one. And that will go into your use controller rotation yaw. So basically, he'll use like this is the way I usually do it. So I'll plug that into now the set you've got there, into the left-hand side of it. So what will happen here is when you're moving forwards and going actual forwards, it will go whichever way the camera's facing. But if you move backwards or stand still, you can turn the camera freely. That's how I normally do third-person shooter. So if you like that and then you stop and you can turn.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's normally how I do it, but obviously Division does it a little bit different apparently. So I can't remember how you turn in Division. That's the thing.
But this is what I wanted to do essentially, though. Anyway. But
so this is what I normally do. Yeah.
It's still nice to look around like this. It's fine when I'm running, and then you could just stop and look. That could work for me for now.
Yeah, I say I have to play it and remind myself how to play Division.
I told myself I was gonna ask you about how to structure some of my abilities. I know we're out of time and everything. I just have to wait. But maybe I could send you a question and I mean, I'm not nowhere near setting up my abilities or anything yet, so I'm just excited. That's all.
But try to do everything at once.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I just want to know so much. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
The truth is, you help me so much because this map is what I'm good at. Like imagining things and making maps and stuff like this is what I'm good at. So I need to know how to best structure it and save a lot of my so I can have so it'll be a smooth process, and the movement, it looks a lot better, and that's what I wanted as well. You helped me out with that, and especially the blender, the rigging, how I can rig, because I'm gonna go rig it right now, so that I can set up my dodge rolls and whatnot. So yeah, I really thank you so much, man. I mean, I really appreciate this. I really do. You have no idea, and I'm just about to get to work because now I know exactly how to actually start building my map instead of doing all these meshes.
Yeah.
And,
good.
So it doesn't matter the size. I can put as much as I want in a project. Like I got
Yeah,
tons
it
of
can
stuff
have
in this
it
project,
can
man.
it can have thousands of things in it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because it only renders what it sees.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So this is just right.
hmm
I feel like I don't want.
The only thing it would affect is the initial load of the level. If you have loads of stuff in
Okay.
it, the initial load of level is the thing that take up time. But the running of the game, it'd be fine
Okay.
because
So
it just stores all those things in memory ready to be used, and then when it comes up, it just renders it.
how do I change the mesh's size? Um, I have to start from the beginning because I have this weapon and it looks giant, but when I put it on my back, it's small. But it looks like
Um.
you see this right here, right? It's
mhm.
blueprinted to pick it up. See how big it is?
Yeah.
And then I change the size in the viewport. It makes it smaller on my back, even though it makes it smaller right here.
Yeah. So you've got a scale probably on your socket.
On my
So on your character's socket where you put the gun, you've probably scaled the socket.
oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably did it whilst you're using the preview asset to place the socket in the right location and rotation.
So I have to change it
But
from the initial, from the beginning.
yeah, you ideally should have the same size in the world as it is on your.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I was.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But yeah, that'll be why it looks so different.
Okay. All right, man. So one more thing, I should tone down my textures or just
That'll be fine for now. Textures are easier to tone down than models later. There's a whole system called MIP maps, which we can tackle next time we talk.
all right, man. I feel like I don't want to let you go. I'm sure a lot of people tell you that, man, but
That's all right.
right here is crazy, man. All right, Ryan. Appreciate it again, man. Thanks a lot.
No worries. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'll catch you
All right.
later, man, and I'll shoot you a few messages, man.
Yeah, sure, and I'll reply as soon as I'm able to.
Is
Okay.
Discord the best way to reach you?
Yeah, yeah. Patreon doesn't send me notifications. It's a rubbish app. But Discord, I do get notifications. So, yeah, Discord's best.
All right, sweet, man. Thanks again. Catch you.
No worries. See ya.